Assalamu alaikum. Here's a subject in English about seeking the blessings by touching the wall of the grave of the Prophet ﷺ, and measuring this to anyone, any wali among the awliya, which is called in English saints. If you see a saint, and you like him, he looks very religious to you, you touch his clothes, his body, seeking blessings from that. Well, the question is raised, do you know if he's in hell or in paradise? If you do not, and you cannot, then you should not touch the body of that person whom you know not whether he'll be among the people of hell or not. If you know the unseen, go ahead, but you don't know the unseen. Now, they always use this narration in a book called Al-Ilal, collected by Abdullah, the son of Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Now, in this book, he says that I have asked my father about people who come to the grave, touching it, seeking blessings from it. Imam Ahmad said, "La ba'sa bihi." There is nothing wrong with that. Stop! Matters about Aqidah should not be given such kind of answer. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Well, Omar, the caliph, the second caliph, he had seen something wrong with that. He believed no stone or wall should be touched except the black stone. Any other thing, there's something wrong with that. That's Omar. He said to the black stone, I know that you are only a stone that never benefit or make any harm. I have seen the Prophet touching you or kissing you, I would never been doing it. And what Ahmad said is opinion. What Omar said is a matter of Sharia law, as you will see. But don't forget that this narration by Ahmad is contradictory, as you will see. When he saw the Prophet kissing the black stone, what did he say? I know you are a non-beneficial or harmful stone. Had not I have seen the Prophet kissing you, I would never be kissing you. So the matter in Omar's perspective is a matter of whether the Prophet did it or not. If he did it, there's nothing wrong with it because he did it. If he did not do it, then there's something wrong with it. So the answer of Imam Ahmad was a type of people of opinion. And Ahmad was not known to be among the people of opinion. He was always strict to the matter of narration, whether this kind of worship or anything that drives you closer to Allah, it should be by dalil, by evidence. So how can we deal with that? That is a problem now that Abdullah said, I have asked my father. Will he be doubting the son of Ahmad? He's not making any narration through somebody, but he is asking personally, directly, his father. And how can he deal with this? The answer is simple. Ahmad is a human being. He's not a sinless person. Okay? Now, even if he said something, we have to explore it. To the Book of Allah, to the Sunnah of Rasulullah, to the Sunnah of the rightly guided caliphs. That's what the Prophet told us. We respect Imam Ahmad, but our obedience and respect should be to the second caliph Omar more than Ahmad. If there's anything that contradicts between Ahmad and the companions, we do not precede or prefer Ahmad over the companions of Rasulullah. But before going through all of this depth of information that I'm going to give you, first let me say one important thing. This question that have been addressed by Abdullah to his father has a problem. Now, Ahmad ibn Hanbal is the scholar that there is a madhab under his name nowadays called the Hanbali madhab. The Hanbali people rejected his narration and they said, according to the authentic madhab doctrine that the Hanbalis follow is that we should not be touching the grave of the Prophet. This is على الصحيح من المذهب, according to the authentic opinion of the madhab. That's what Al-Mirdawi, the author of the book, a Hanbali book, Al-Insaf, he said, according to the authentic madhab of Ahmad ibn Hanbal, that the wall of the shrine of the Prophet should not be touched. Even Ibn Hajar, the commentator of Sahih Bukhari, he admitted it in his book Fath al-Bari, 3rd volume, page 475. He said, the people of Ahmad ibn Hanbal, the Hanbali scholars, they dismissed this narration, preferring the more authentic narration by Al-Athram. That is credited and believed. That's what Ibn Hajar said, and that's what you're going to see also by Al-Imam Al-Maqdisi, the author of the greatest Hanbali book, Al-Mughni. Why? Because there is another narration that contradicts it, narrated by Al-Athram, who was so close to Ahmad and he was so accurately narrating what he heard from Ahmad. He asked Ahmad the same question and Ahmad said, I do not know. I don't know this issue. That means he doesn't know that people used to be doing something like this, like the Prophet, like the companions of the Prophet or the Tabi'in. He said, I do not know. That means he does not acknowledge it. He does not give it any consideration. And this authentic by the scholars, they said, Al-Athram is more accurate in what he narrates from Ahmad, more than the son of Ahmad, Abdullah. That is why Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, in his book Fath al-Bari, and Ibn Hajar al-Haytami, who was a Sufi person and an enemy to Ibn Taymiyyah, he said, the narration from Ahmad about this issue is contradictory. And even Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, in his book Fath al-Bari, he made it clear that the Hanbali people, they disliked this narration to be narrated by Ahmad, and they chose the narration of Al-Athram. So, now, if a person said to you, I am Shafi'i, tell him, and Nawawi is also Shafi'i. And he had announced, declared the ijma'. Ijma' means by unanimous decision of all the scholars of Islam that we should not be touching the wall of the shrine, neither of the Prophet nor of anyone else. It's not allowed. Which means automatically that this so-called narration by Abdullah to his father is not considered by all scholars, even by the Hanbali scholars. They did not give it any consideration. Had it been considered by any, at least they should not be saying that it had been unanimously agreed upon. They should be saying, well, some said it's allowed, permissible. Some others said it is not permissible. But Nawawi, Shafi'i, he said it is agreed upon this. Why? And Nawawi and many other scholars, including Imam Gazali, in his book Ihya Ulumuddin, he made it clear that this is the habit of the Jews and Christians, people of the book. And Nawawi said it. All other scholars said it, that it is a Christian habit. So how can this be a Muslim doctrine? It means that the narration of Abdullah is not accepted, especially when scholars of hadith said that Abdullah sometimes brings a problematic, critical narrations far from truth. Sometimes he's not as accurate as Al-Athram. That's what scholars said. But at least, let's say both are authentic. Both narrations are authentic. Let's say that. Well, citing Ahmad ibn Hanbal's opinion about this will be falling down because it's contradictory. When two narrations contradict, that means they are not inferred. It is not capable or allowed to use it as evidence when two narrations contradict. You see here, Ibn Hajar al-Haytami, he's making it clear. He's saying that the two narrations narrated by Ahmad are contradictory. Now we have here a narration narrated by Ubaydullah ibn Nafi' and Ibn Umar, that Ibn Umar used to be hating touching the grave of the Prophet ﷺ. It had been narrated by Abu Hassan Ali ibn Umar al-Qazwini in his book Al-Amali, and Al-Dhahabi also narrated it. Now Al-Dhahabi mentioned something else. He was criticizing those who say, it is not allowed, it is not permissible. And he was saying to them, what are those people stupid? Don't they know that Abdullah ibn Imam Ahmad asked his father, and his father said, there's nothing wrong with that? Now look at him here. He's narrating something contradictory to what he narrated by Imam Ahmad. In his book, Siyar Alam al-Nubala, volume 12, page 373, he is narrating this narration that the son of Omar, he used to be hating this. Shu'aib al-Arnaut, searcher of the authenticity of narrations, as we say in Arabic, muhaqqiq, he judged this narration that it is authentic. And the narration of Omar, who said to the black stone, I know you are a stone, a mere stone, that you neither benefit nor make any harm. Had not I saw the Prophet kissing you, I will not be kissing you. Who do we take? Omar is following the law. Ahmad is following opinion. Now, if Ahmad said it. So do we follow the one who said something by his opinion? There's nothing wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. Or we follow Omar, who was tracing the sunnah of the Prophet in this issue. Not only this, but Omar saw people making shifts. Alternatively, standing over a place, performing prayer at a place which was believed that the Prophet ﷺ used to be performing place on it, at that place. So they were praying there, and some are waiting until the others finish, then they pray. Then Umar radiallahu anhu said, Are you taking the traces of your prophets as places of mosques, masjid? This is what perished the people before you. Whoever needed to perform a prayer, coincidentally, occasionally, as he passes by, so let him pray here. Otherwise, let him pray and go. That was narrated by Sa'id ibn Mansur in his Sunan authentically. Sheikh Albani said it is authentic. And it had been narrated to Omar that some people used to be standing on that on that tree, which the Prophet and the companions used to be given bay'ah. Bay'ah means where the companions gave allegiance to the Prophet ﷺ. They gave allegiance to the Prophet. So this place became holy. This is the place where, the companions gave a covenant to the Prophet. They're going to support him, even to death. So as Omar saw this, he ordered that tree to be cut off. Ibn Hajar, in his book Fath al-Bari, 7th volume, page 448, he said, this is authentic. And I wonder that some silly people like Jeffrey, he says, the Prophet said that the Ummah will never be falling in shirk, paganism. Then why Omar cut it? Why did Omar cut the tree? If what you say is true. It is not true. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected the Muslims from falling in shirk, let him protect them also from falling in disbelief. Some of them are becoming disbelievers. Some of them are becoming falling in major hypocrisy. So this Allah allows, which is a matter of disbelief. Major hypocrisy is it ousts the person expels the person from Islam. Major kufr, it also expels the person from Islam. Except shirk. He protects the ummah from shirk, which is disbelief, paganism. Because shirk, polytheism, it expels the person from Islam. So why Allah considered this, but did not consider other things that expel the person from Islam as well, such as major hypocrisy, major disbelief? That's not true. So this question is very important. And the Prophet said, among the most greatest things I have fear for you is that you fall in a hidden shirk. That you may do something which is supposed to be for the sake of Allah, done for the sake of Allah, then you do it for the sake of others. That means the Prophet has fear against shirk. Ibn Hajar said about this narration, it is authentic, Hasan. Yani slightly, it has a slight weakness, but eventually it is authentic. That's what Ibn Hajar in his book Fath al-Bari, volume 7, page 448, he said it is authentic. Coming to Ghazali, in his book Ihya Ulumuddin, volume 1, page 259, he said it is not of sunnah that a person touches the wall of the grave or kissing it or keep standing next to it. He should be standing from remote place. This is more respectful to the grave of the Prophet. In another place in his book, volume 4, page 491, he said, no one should be touching the grave or stone because this is the habit of the Christians. If I said it by myself, people would say, who are you? Who are you? You're nothing. All right. Well, at least Ghazali means something to you. If I don't mean anything to you, come on. And Nawawi. Those people of innovation are very contradictory. If you say to them every innovation is misguidance, they'll be Immediately, instantly, quoting An-Nawawi saying, هذا عام مخصوص. This is in general, but it has something to specify the exceptional cases. Which means it means to oppose the Prophet in what he said. So they want to strip this kull every from its essence. So it becomes eventually some, not all. That's a problem. They say there's an ayah in the Quran. It says about the wind that Allah sent to the people of Thamud. He said, he was citing the ayah, it destroyed everything on its way. Then the ayah continues. It says, then nothing was seen after the wind. Nothing was seen except their habitations, their houses. See? So Allah first, He said that this wind, it destroys everything. But then at the end of the verse, He said, so nothing was seen except, that means their places, their houses was not destroyed by the wind. You see? They say to you, you see? So every did not mean every. You have to be smart. You have to believe that every is not every. It's just like what Christians say. Three are three, but they're one. Yes, they're three, but they're one. Now, Allah said in the ayah that this wind destroys everything by the command of its Lord. That means the word kull here is attached to the command of Allah. It's ready to destroy everything. But if Allah ordered it to destroy 90%, it will destroy 90%. So you have no way to use this to for the cancellation of what the Prophet said. No way. Furthermore, An-Nawawi changed his mind and said, this hadith proves that all innovations are forbidden. All. This time An-Nawawi is saying all. See? So An-Nawawi contradicted himself. Now I don't want to change the topic here, but I want to show how those people are contradictory. In the matter of innovation, they will cite to you Nawawi. Okay, wait a minute. But An-Nawawi said about this touching of the grave that it's the habit of the Jews and the Jews and the Christians. Would he be following An-Nawawi now? Look what An-Nawawi said in his book Al-Majmu'. He said, what is permissible and even preferred in the matter of visiting graves is that you stand and the Qibla, the Kaaba, is behind you, giving your direction to the face of the dead, giving salam. Well, some may take that as an advantage and say, well, that means he can speak. No, this is not speech, my dear. This is salutation. This is, not salutation. Sorry about that. This is supplication. It is not even salutation. It is supplication. And Tahawi said, وَفِي دُعَاءِ الْأَحْيَاءِ مَنْفَعَةٌ لِلْأَمْوَاتِ. And in the supplication of the living ones, there is a benefit for the dead ones. That's what Tahawi said in his book, Al-Aqidah Tahawiyya. But they don't follow him. They don't like that. Because they want to keep saying, Ya Rasulallah, Ya Muhammad, Ya Nabi Allah. They want to keep saying it. That's why it became a logo. It became a banner in the places where Allah should be worshipped alone. And that's what Allah said in the chapter Al-Jinn, ayah number 18. وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ. Masajid belong to Allah. فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا. So do not supplicate with Allah anyone. Let's get back to what An-Nawawi said. An-Nawawi said, what is preferred in the matter of visiting the graves is that you stand and the Qibla is behind you and giving the direction of the to the dead person, you say Assalamu alaikum, which is, as I mentioned, supplication, and he should not be touching the grave, nor kissing it, nor touching it at all, because this is the habit of the Christians. Now, it seems that Nawawi, yes, he was citing, this phrase was cited by Nawawi of Abu Musa al-Asfahani. And he referred this to the quite understanding kinds of scholars in Khurasan. So, and now he said, what he mentioned is correct, because it had been authentically narrated. The Prophet's prohibition to magnifying graves. And if the two corners of the Kaaba were not preferable to be touched, so it should rather be prohibited touching the grave of anyone. That's what he said in his book Al-Majmu'ah Sharh Al-Muhadhab, volume 5, page 311. In the book Ash-Shifa, for a very well-known scholar whom An-Nawawi used to be, using his words and statements as evidence, citing his opinions, and says, Ash-Shifa, which is the book of the Prophet's biography, in this book, he said, the Qadi Iyad, he said, I do not see it, any kind of permissible issue, I do not see. That means it's not of, I do not prefer this. That a person stands at the grave of the Prophet, but he says Salam Alaikum when he goes away. And he narrated Ibn Wahab that he said, he gets close, he says Salam Alaikum, and he does not touch the grave. Now, there is a commentator of this book, Ash-Shifa, who is Hanafi, and whose name is Mullah Ali Qari. In his explanation of the book Ash-Shifa, second volume, page 152, he said, because this is the habit, the attitude of the Christians. And as if he was having fear that he may be accused by the environment, the Sufi environment around him, he referred it to Ghazali. He said, it is the habit of the Christians, as Imam Gazali said. So tell me, how people claim that they belong to Sunnah, and they keep persuading us, becoming even enemies, extreme enemies against us, when we say to them, that is not permissible, that you do these things. This is the attitude of the Christians and the Jews before us. Ibn al-Hajj al-Maliki, this is a very well-known scholar among the Maliki scholars. He said, if he gave salam to the Prophet ﷺ, he should not be touching the grave by his hand. Al-Madkhal, first volume, page 261, describing those who make circuits around the grave, just like what Muslims do around the Kaaba, and kissing it, that those people have no knowledge. And this is all matter of innovation, because seeking the blessing is through obeying the Prophet, through the obedience of the Prophet. This is the blessing. Is to trace the sunnah of the Prophet. This is the barakah, the blessings. The book Al-Madkhal, first volume, page 256 to 257. Also another Maliki scholar, Al-Qurafi, he said that kissing and touching something, it is a special matter to the Kaaba. Nothing should be taken in measure to the Kaaba. Okay, if the stone of the Kaaba is black, this black stone, so you should not be measuring the red stone to the black stone. or the white, or the green, or the blue. No. No measurement here. That's why Omar made it clear, saying to the... He was not speaking to the stone, by the way. He was making declaration to the ummah, to the nation. That's why he was saying to the black stone, I know you are a stone that neither make any benefit nor remove any harm. But had not I saw the Prophet doing it, I would have never been doing this. That means kissing the black stone or touching the Ar-Rukn al-Yamani, the Yemeni corner. So, touching the Yemeni corner without kissing, just signaling, or mostly touching. Ibn Abbas saw Muawiyah touching every corner, the four corners of the Kaaba. Ibn Abbas said to him, we were not allowed to touch all corners. Then Muawiyah said to him, leave me, Ibn Abbas. I don't accept opinions. But Ibn Abbas did not leave him. He kept with every circuit among the circuits of Muawiyah, criticizing what he is doing. I like what Ibn Hajar said. This is a very beautiful statement. He said the issue of righteous people was the beginning of the pagan worship of the people of Noah to those statues. The issue of righteous people. That means when righteous people at the lifetime of the Prophet Noah died, they used to be beloved by people because of their righteousness. So, they kept dedicating time on their graves. Then the devil started step by step, gradually, telling them that people may be forgetting the image of those people. So why don't you make images for them? So they'll be always, as a matter of, to memorize them. Then, next generation, the devil said, your fathers used to be worshipping them, so worship them. Gradually. Fath al-Bari, volume 8, page 668. I did not finish. I want to show you that those people are contradictory and they pick and choose. In the same book of Al-Ilal, the same book. As for the narration about what happened between Ibn Abbas and Muawiyah, Ibn Abbas said to him, I haven't seen the Prophet touching anything more than those two corners, Hajj al-Aswad and the Yamani corner. It is in the book of Al-Ilal. Al-Ilal, volume 3, page 316. Note that it says here, it is not allowed except for the two corners, the Yemeni corners, and the black stone. That's all. Where did you get touching the graves from? In the book of Al-Ilal. Abdullah narrates by his father Ahmad, by Malik ibn Anas, that Allah is in as-sama, and His knowledge is everywhere, and there is nothing that can be emptied from Allah's knowledge. Al-Ilal, volume number 3, page 181. Will you be taking this? No. It's in the book of Allah. أَأَمِنْتُمْ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاءِ, and you refused it. Yeah, what else? We have something more. Now, Abdullah ibn Ahmad has a book called As-Sunnah. You know those people who have problem with the attributes of Allah, they call this book As-Sunnah the book of paganism, because it describes Allah with descriptions that those people are not happy with, they disagree with. Such as, if you say about the narration, the book of Al-Ilal, Abdullah said, I asked my father and he told me. How can you say It is not authentic. No problem, no problem, no problem. Calm down, calm down. But also in his book As-Sunnah, he said, I asked my father. Some people say that Allah had spoken but without a sound. Ahmad said, no, that is not true. Allah had spoken to Musa with a sound. Allah has a sound. We narrate these narrations. It had been authentically narrated that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's voice has a sound. As-Sunnah for Abdullah bin Ahmad. Whether you accept the book or not, you should not be refusing his proclamation that he asked or he heard his father. You should accept it, as you accepted that narration in Al-Alal that he asked his father about seeking blessings, touching the grave. Is it allowed? He said, I don't see anything wrong with that. All right. So you should not be seeing anything wrong with what I'm going to narrate to you from his book As-Sunnah. It's only, I have chosen for you only what he said. I heard my father and I asked my father. Only. To show you that you are people of pick and choose. You are people of pick and choose. So this is the first one that Imam Ahmad said, yes, Allah had spoken with a voice. And that goes in line with what Bukhari narrated as well. Not only narrated, but he believed and he declared that Allah speaks with voice. So what are you going to say about Bukhari? That he's mujassim? He's making Allah similar to his creatures? Are you going to speak against Bukhari? Well, if you do, you have to declare about yourself, testify about yourself that you are Jahmi, that you are deniers of what Allah describes himself. As you see also, he is narrating from the Tabi'een, the Salaf, their debates with the Jahmis, like Hamad ibn Salama. He said, it ended up in our debates that those people, the Jahmi people, do not believe that there is any God over the throne. Would you accept it? Okay. Where is that? As I mentioned, is in the book of Sunnah, first volume, page 280. Narration number 533. The other one is, my father told me, that he narrated by Shu'aib ibn Harb, by Sufyan Thawri, that he said, I asked my father about Abu Hanifa. He said, yes. He said, he is a man that had been ordered to repent twice from disbelief. That's in the book of As-Sunnah. And Abdullah said, my father told me. And this narration, Shu'aib ibn Harb, Sufyan al-Thawri, is authentic. If Ahmad is in the chain of narration, narrating by Shu'aib ibn Harb, Sufyan al-Thawri, then it is authentic. Regardless about what I believe in Abu Hanifa. We'll find in a narration he said, yes, I repent to Allah. So that's a very honoring to Abu Hanifa, that if he found that he fell in a mistake, he retreats. Let's continue. Also, and here in Sunnah, first volume, page 215, narration number 355, they said to him, repent, O Abu Hanifa, from what you said. He said, I repent. And it's authentic. So don't think that I'm trying to criticize Abu Hanifa. No. Despite I believe that this is a matter of fadila, a matter of righteousness, a great righteousness, that Abu Hanifa said immediately that when he was ordered or asked to repent from what he said, I repent. He didn't find any kind of difficulty to say it. And he said it. Here in the book of As-Sunnah, volume 1, page 264, narration number 489, authentically narrated. Abdullah said, I heard my father saying to me, narrated by يحيى بن سعيد سفيان عن الأعمش عن منصور عن إبراهيم عن عبيدة عن عبد الله عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم that Allah holds the heavens by one finger and and he was signaling by his finger like this until he counted many things by his fingers until he counted the last finger. As-Sunnah, first volume, page 264, narration number 489. So he said, I heard my father. So you should accept it. There's another narration here. Abdullah said, I heard my father narrating this, that Allah will be bringing the believer closer to him until Allah will let his shadow get closer to him. Then he will be showing him his sins. Then he will be forgiving him. As-Sunnah, first volume, page 240, narration number 437. A lot of narrations that those people will not be agreeing with Imam Ahmad, but only they choose what suits them, what suits their cult, their sect. That's why those people should be called sectarian, cultist people. Why? Because they pick and choose from the book and the Sunnah what suits their cult. What does not suit their cult, they'll ignore it. If they were ordered, if somebody said to them, how can you deny something mentioned in the book or the Sunnah, they say, oh, all right, it's metaphor. We take it metaphorically, because this matter of metaphor is just like rubber. It's just like a rubber, right? When everything doesn't suit them, it's metaphoric. Whenever it suits them, it's literal. It is not metaphoric. This is the game of the Jews and the Christians, who manipulate their texts in order to become suitable or in order to justify the false in it. Exactly. As if they are saying to you that, yes, it is false, but it appears to be incorrect, error. That's why we have to give it another meaning in order to blind people from this error. Well, if a Christian comes and say, I want to become Muslim, but you say that you should not be taking externally, literally, these ayah, that means your book is incorrect. So that's why I have to reject your book. That's the case. Likewise is the matter of the book of, I think, Al-Ilal, Masail. They say that Imam Ahmad was going to Hajj 3 times or even 5 times. And he said, whenever I go, I used to be asking the servants of Allah, guide us to the way. You know what they said? They said, see, Ahmad is asking the people of unseen, Rijal al-Ghaib. He was asking them as he was going to the Hajj, he was asking the unseen people. Oh yeah? Who? They say the angels. The angels? What did he say? I spoke to angels? Did he say the angels said to him, come follow us? So he knew the way? This is ambiguous statement narrated about Ahmad that he said, I lost the way, and I was saying, oh servants of Allah, guide us to the way. Who are those? Did he say I was speaking to jinn? And a matter of fact, the jinn gave a confession in the chapter called Al-Jinn. The jinn gave confession that people used to be seeking help from them, seeking protection from them. They used to be saying, as they go down to a valley, they say, we seek refuge with the master, the Lord of this valley, from his ignorant people, mean people. Then the jinn said in their confession in the Quran, and they used to be increasing them in fear. Devil worship people, devil worshippers, don't ever think that if you take the devil as ally, you'll be accepted, you'll be considered as an exceptional case from what he scares. No. He will increase you in scaring. Unless you seek refuge with Allah from what he created, the devil. That is why we say to the non-Muslims, when they say that this book, the Quran, is false, we say to them, why? They say, it had been suggested by the devil. Well, the question is, does the devil say to you, seek refuge with Allah against me whenever you recite my book? It can't be. The devil will never be saying to the people, those who follow him, seek refuge with my creator from me if you want to read my book. It can't be. When they say to you that Ibn Abbas narrated that the Prophet said, there are some angels, they keep roaming, floating. So if anybody has among you a problem in the desert or etc., you say, O servants of Allah, help us. It is not authentic. Narrated by Usama bin Zayd al-Laythi. And Nasa'i said, is not strong in narration. Al-Qattan said, I make you witness that I have left his narrations. I don't want to cite his narrations anymore. And also it contains Abu Khalid al-Ahmar. He's a good narrator, but sometimes he brings some strange and odd kinds of narrations that are not known by all the companions. So scholars said that he is authentic, there's nothing wrong with him, but sometimes he brings some peculiar narrations. And if we don't find those narrations in other sources, we have to be skeptical against them. Should not be accepting them. Sure, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, don't ask anyone beside Allah. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you ever ask Allah alone. And if you ever seek help from Allah alone. He didn't say, ask. Listen to this carefully. I say carefully. They bring to you the weak hadith that there are angels that float in the land, and whoever has a problem, he is in the wilderness, or anything wrong happens to him, so he should be saying, "O men of the unseen, help." That's what this. Okay, that's the hadith. Now, immediately they attach to this that Ahmad ibn Hanbal was traveling to Hajj, and he was asking, when he misses the way, he was asking people, help us. Oh, people, help us. See? Now, this is a trick. They bring those two narrations together, and they tell you, they want you to understand that Ahmad was calling those angels. And the narration by the son of Ahmad to his father that he was in Hajj and asking people, we lost the way, it's ambiguous. Okay, it may mean, and it should mean, when there is no clear statement, it should be meaning that when he sees people who are on the way to Hajj as well, he is to be asking them. Why I say that? It was very clear. I quoted this ayah from the Quran that they used to be men among human, seeking refuge with men among jinn, ghosts. Then the ghosts increase their fear because, that makes the ghosts, the devils feel more boasting, proud that they are asking our help. They are giving confession after they became Muslims. Those jinn in Surah Al-Jinn. They gave confession that they used to be men among human, seeking refuge with men among jinn. Then they increased their fear. So how can we accept this weak hadith and prioritize it over this very clear ayah, which makes clear the jinn are giving confession to you that those people of paganism, they used to be asking the jinn, saying, we seek refuge with the master of the jinn against his rude people. See, so this is the trick. So I want to be very careful about it. Okay? This hadith about the angels floating, narrated by Osama bin Zayd al-Laythi, it has a problem. And we cannot prefer it over what the Prophet said. If you ever ask Allah alone. And what we are saying in our daily prayer, maybe more than 50 times a day, we always say, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, it is you whom we worship, وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, and it is you whom we seek help from. So be careful about this trick. The people of the unseen, wait a minute, you say angels? Alright. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered 5,000 angels to participate in the war of Badr against the disbelievers. Some of the companions heard some voices, like one of the angels who was saying to his cattle, أقبل حيزوم. And suddenly the companion, as he was fighting someone, and suddenly he saw that the head of that disbeliever was chopped off, not by his sword, but by the angels. Did any of the companions say, oh angels, I'm engaged with someone, I'm fighting with this spirit, come and help me? Did they say that? Did they say that? No. Stop following fictions. Stop following fictions. We are encountering many famines and calamities that is falling from the heaven up unto this ummah because of your fictions and paganism that anger Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a promise saying, Allah had promised those believers among you, those who believed and worked righteousness, He will let them be heirs in the land, inheriting the land, and He will make their power strong, and He'll be substituting their fear to security. He'll be pledging security to them. What is the condition, O God? يَعْبُدُونَنِي لَا يُشْرِكُونَ بِي شَيْئًا, as long as they worship me, setting no partners with me. I bear witness that the Christians worship Allah. I bear witness that the Hindus worship Allah. I bear witness that the Buddhists worship Allah. I bear witness that all the Sufis worship Allah, but not alone. That's the point. Not alone. And among their matter of ignorance is that they say, yes, we are supplicating them, but we are not worshipping them. Worshipping them is for the people of Jahiliyyah, like Abu Jahl, Abu Lahab. But as for us, no. We do not worship. We only supplicate. Well, you will not be excused by your ignorance, because your ignorance is not the standard. But Allah's book is the standard. His prophets say is the standard. You're not the standard because of your ignorance of what the Quran included. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قُلْ إِنِّي نُهِيتُ أَنْ أَعْبُدَ الَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Say, I am forbidden from worshipping those whom you supplicate with Allah. From worshipping those whom you supplicate. Worship, supplicate. Ibrahim said to his people, do they hear you? That means those statues. Do they hear you when you call them? Or they give you any kind of benefit or remove any harm from you? They did not say yes. They did not say no. Because any answer they give, they'll be in trouble. Ibrahim put them in trouble. So the only thing they had to say, but we only found our fathers worshipping them. Then he said to them, do you see those whom you worship? First he asked them, Do they hear you when you call them, supplicate them? Then, next ayah, he said, do you see them, those whom you worship? In Surah Maryam, he said, and I keep myself away from you and those whom you supplicate with Allah. Now the next ayah, Allah said, so when he left them, when he isolated himself from them and what they worship, Ibrahim said, I leave you and what you supplicate. Then Allah said, when Ibrahim left them and what they worship. So the book of Allah is the standard which you're going to be asked about at the day of judgment. That's why Allah sent his book, not to leave you with your opinion. So you'll be condemned by the standard law of Allah, not by your unstandard kind of opinion. And the Prophet said, Ad-du'a huwa al-ibad. Supplication is a matter of worship. It is very similar to another hadith. Al-Hajj Arafah. Hajj is Arafah. What do we understand? What did the scholars understand from the Prophet's statement, Al-Hajj is Arafah? That means Arafah is the pillar of Hajj. Likewise is the matter of supplication. It is the pillar of worship. I repeat, supplication is the pillar of worship. It's very similar to the hadith, Al-Hajj Arafah. That means Arafah is the pillar of Hajj. You know, if you missed standing at the ninth day, at the day of Arafah, if you missed standing at that day, if you came next day, no Hajj. Please don't continue the Hajj. No. Get back and wait for another year. You have to be exactly at that day. If you missed it, you missed Hajj. So when the Prophet said, Ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah, supplication is worship, it shows that supplication is a pillar of worship. While matter of prostrating, it used to be allowed at the time of Yusuf, before us. It used to be allowed. See, there's more strictness about supplication, more than falling down in prostration. The Quran tells me this. When one of the companions went to Damascus and saw people worshipping for their rabbis, for their hierarchy people, they used to be prostrating to them. Then, I think it's Abu Sa'id. Abu Sa'id, as he came back from Damascus, when he saw the Prophet ﷺ, he prostrated to him. Then the Prophet said to him, what did you do? What are you doing? He said, oh Prophet, I saw in Damascus those Roman people. They are prostrating to their hierarchy people, and you deserve that more than them. Then the Prophet replied and said to him, if I allowed anyone to prostrate to another person, I'll be ordering the woman to prostrate for their husbands. The Prophet here is not talking about worship. He's talking about magnifying. Okay? Which means also that he did not allow. If he were to allow. I'm saying this lest somebody misunderstand. So we see here, this matter is lighter than the matter of supplication. But what people do today, the people's conception that no prostration is ever worse than supplication. It's not true. But after the Prophet's prohibition, it becomes a matter of shirk in our ummah. Finish. It's not allowed. Yeah, the other thing is that they will be saying to you, if we're allowed to ask the angels, why don't we ask the dead people? Especially the Prophet is alive in his grave. Alive? Yes. Well, I say to you, he's not only alive, but he even performed prayer in his grave. If you want to take it the same life, that means we have to say to the Prophet at the grave or from any remote place, because there's no different to those people. Speaking to the Prophet from close or from far, it's the same to the Prophet. He hears all, despite the variety of their languages, their places, times, he can hear all. Did anyone say to the Prophet, oh Prophet, why don't you perform jama'ah? You ordered us to perform jama'ah, congregational prayer. So if you're able to perform the prayer in your grave, why don't you open the grave and lead us in the prayer? Lead us in the prayer. The barzakh system has its special different law than our law of life. So don't try to make any kind of networking, please. There is nothing called social network between the dead and the living one. Allah said, وَمَا يَسْتَوِي الْأَحْيَاءُ وَالْأَمْوَاتُ. The dead ones and the living ones, they cannot be comparable, equal. They can't be dealt with equally. That's what Allah said. But those people, they say, no, they're the same. There's a beautiful statement here that I want to translate by At-Tahawi. He said, in the supplication of the living one and their donations, there is a benefit for the dead ones. Now those people are reversing it, as if they're saying, in the supplication of the dead one, there is a benefit for the living one. It's completely contradicting what At-Tahawi said. Then At-Tahawi said, وَاللَّهُ يَقْضِي الْحَاجَاتِ وَيَسْتَجِيبُ الدَّعَوَاتِ. And Allah gives the needs and He responds to the supplications. That's what Tahawi said. And those who study At-Tahawiyah, they oppose what At-Tahawi said clearly here. Well, if the Prophet is still alive, the same life of his previous life, then why Abu Bakr became the caliph? Abu Bakr should never dare to become the leader after him because the Prophet is still alive. This is contradiction. So I just wanted to mention this to you as a matter of awareness. The narration about Ibn Abbas, that there are angels that roam around, etc., etc. And if you have any problem, okay, so ask, O servants of Allah, guide us to the way or help us. Scholars said, like Ibn Hajar, he said, it is a strange narration. We had not been hearing this before, except through this way of narration only. So when they say only, that means there is tafarrud, a solely kind of narration that we should be skeptical and we should not be accepting it, especially when it contradicts hundreds of verses of the Quran and hadith as well. The essence of this religion is to worship Allah alone. And the essence of the knowledge is to know that supplication is worship. Allah said, فَاعْبُدِ اللَّهَ مُخْلِصًا لَهُ الدِّينَ. Worship Allah, making your religion, faith sincere to Him. That's in Surah Al-Zumar, ayah number 3. The next surah, Ghafir, ayah number 7. It says, فَادْعُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. Supplicate Allah, making your religion sincere to Him. Look at the similarity of those two ayahs. In Az-Zumar, worship Allah, making your deen, religion, faith sincere to Him. In Surah Ghafir, which is the next surah after Az-Zumar, supplicate Allah, making your religion sincere to Him. There's a great deal of similarity between two, which lead us to the conclusion that supplication is worship. Look, finally I say this. Anything is related to the matter of shirk, paganism, polytheism is a very deadly, dangerous. Oh, not deadly, sorry. I should not be saying deadly. Because shirk means no death but staying in hell. Who said it? Isa. إِنَّهُ مَن يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ الْجَنَّةِ. Whoever sets partners with Allah and supplicating someone other than Allah is considered in the book of Allah and the sunnah of His Prophet that it's a matter of shirk. So whoever, that's what Isa says, whoever sets partners with Allah, then Allah will be making paradise forbidden on him. And at the day of judgment, he will be among those losers. I have conveyed the message, and I leave all other things to you. You judge. Wassalamu alaikum.